didn't see my depression coming. Does anyone? The first time, I mean, all the vital ingredients were there, emigrating to another country, beginning a new life in a new country with a new husband and a new stepdaughter, starting my acting career again from scratch, making new friends, learning how to drive on the right automatic, having learned on the left stick shift, having to keep kosher in the house and remembering not to put the wrong fork in the wrong cutlery tray or, God forbid, in the wrong food. Figuring out that the reason my husband never told me I was pretty wasn't because he didn't think I was pretty, it was because, according to his upbringing, any kind of compliment would result in invoking the evil eye, which would make him then have to spit and mumble something in Yiddish. I didn't take into account any genetic predispositions or elements in my background which would have warned me to be on my guard against mental illness. One family member who self-medicates with red wine and codeine, another's bipolar disorder diagnosis, and a third suicide. My own use of food, drink, drugs, sex to deal with difficult emotions. No, I just wasn't one of those people. I was the life and soul of the party. I was the eternal optimist. I was the happiest kid in the candy store. Until I wasn't. Ironically, the trigger for my Great Depression was something that made my husband and my kid very happy indeed. So my stepdaughter manages to self-emancipate from her mother shortly before her 11th birthday, which means that I go from part-time to full-time step-parenting overnight. I say to my husband, this is going to be a big change. We're going to have to work really hard to make time for each other. And he nods, and he smiles, and he doesn't hear me. And I get it, you know, he's overcompensating for his kid's lousy childhood. He wants to be there for her 24/7. He doesn't want to get a babysitter. He doesn't even want her having a sleepover for the first 6 months. There is no more going to the pub, no more us time, no more date nights, just night after night after night in front of the TV, watching the same TV shows. If the kid doesn't want to watch it, it doesn't get watched. I just about lose my mind. Intellectually, as a grown-up, I understand that this is the best possible outcome to the custody battle we could ever have envisaged. My husband has his daughter safe at last with him. But at what cost to me? Emotionally, the little kid inside of me is pissed. My needs and wants are being ignored. I have just moved 3,500 miles across the world away from my friends, my family, my former life, my career. And within 8 months of emigrating, I have become the full-time parent to a pre-teen. It's not a very nice thing to say, but this is not what I signed up for. It's too late in the year to get the kid into any kind of summer camp, so she ends up coming with us on a mini book tour that I had envisaged as a romantic getaway road trip for the two of us. This feels like a real blow. I start to get frustrated and angry and bile, and after a particularly spectacular meltdown in Martha's Vineyard of all places, I mean, who the fuck has a breakdown in Martha's Vineyard? I gradually start to slip into a kind of numb sadness. I free fall into depression. I have lost myself. Getting out of bed every day is a struggle. Everything feels heavy. It's hard to breathe. Doing the grocery shopping or the laundry is a major achievement. I wake up at night having panic attacks. During the day, I find myself sitting on the bed, staring out of the window at the wall of the building opposite. I have no idea how I got here. I have no idea how long I've been here. I have no idea how to get myself out of this. My husband is beside himself. He's gained a daughter and lost a wife. By this point, I don't even want to go on a date. I just want to crawl under the duvet and disappear. I think about being dead. Not about the actual act of killing myself, you understand, but of how peaceful it might feel afterwards. On paper, everything is perfect. I am married to the man of my dreams who has just become a New York Times best-selling author, and I feel dead inside. My husband begs me to go to the doctor. It takes a few weeks, but eventually I pick up the phone. I am ashamed. Hi. I've not been feeling so good recently. I think I might need a prescription. My voice is wobbly, but I've taken the first step. Dr. G has known my husband for about 1 million years. He knows our family. He understands the situation. He encourages me to talk, and he listens. He really listens. He lets me cry and cry and cry. I cry so hard and with such anguish that I am convinced I am terrifying everyone in the waiting room, but I am past caring. I howl! Dr. G doesn't shush me. Dr. G doesn't rush me. He is the first ray of hope in a very long time. You see, the problem is you have had too much to deal with in a really short space of time. Emigration is hard. Most people get a little depressed. You have had way more than that to deal with. I am not giving you a prescription because you've had suicidal thoughts. Pills won't help. Your prescription is to come here and talk to me. You need to talk. You need to talk to me. You need to talk to your husband. You need to talk to your friends. You've got to find yourself again. Don't take this the wrong way, but you need to get a life. Your own life. Stay here as long as you need before you gotta go. I pull myself together. I look in the mirror. Ugh. My face is bright red, my eyes puffy, I look like a fucking bush baby. I step out into the waiting room. Everyone is staring at me with a mixture of horror and concern. They're probably wondering what kind of terrible diagnosis I just received. Sitting on the subway on the way home, I notice I feel a bit better, just for having been seen and heard by the doctor. I accept that my husband just needs to be a dad right now, and that I need to put on my big girl pants and get a life. I realise for years I have been running, searching for something outside myself to numb the pain within, looking for someone, something, anything to distract myself from myself. It's time I started looking for me. I forced myself to go out to stand-up and improv and theatre and screenplay reading series. I make a couple of new friends. One of them suggests I accompany her to a writing for stand-up course. I figure, why not? It's time I learned some new skills. I am almost immediately addicted. The Toronto comedy scene welcomes me with open arms. I make a ton of new friends, and I find that I love to write. Writing and performing saved my life. Creativity, drawing and painting and sewing and baking and playing the goddamn ukulele. A combination of art therapy, physical exercise, and giving up booze and taking up vitamin D have all been helpful. Having a loving husband and child and friends and family who support me in person and on Facebook have been fundamental to my recovery. I feel very grateful that I live in Canada, where conversations about mental health are happening, and I feel that the stigma is decreasing. Now I see my depression coming. I feel the heavy pressure of sadness build, and I reach for my pencil and my paper and my running shoes and my friends and my family, and I fight it with all my strength. And most days, I win. Thank you.